This is literal equations, and we're going to do an example. And the example is solve for x. Here's our equation. bx plus h equals j. It's just a bunch of letters. There's no numbers involved. Okay, and that comes up a lot in this topic of literal equations. So before we work on this one, let's do something more familiar. Previously in Math 1, solve for x. 6x plus 3 equals 21. Alright, so you've probably seen something like this equation in class before. Alright, so what do I do first? Best thing to do is subtract 3 from each side, right? We want to make x alone, all by itself. So when I subtract 3, on the left side of the equal sign, it cancels, leaving 6x equal sign. 21 minus 3 is 18. What do I do next? I want to make x alone. Divide by 6. That would be the best thing to do next. The last step. On the left side, 6 divided by 6 is 1. The giant one, like it cancels, leaving just 1x, or x, equals 3. Okay, so this is how we solve equations before, and we're going to use this strategy to help us solve the one over here, this new kind of equation, this literal equation. So first of all, it says solve for x. So my goal should be, at the end of the day, it's going to be x equals something. Alright, so there's my goal. Now, looking at the parallels here, let me rewrite this. What do you think I'm going to do first? Just like this one, I'm going to subtract not 3, but instead I'm going to subtract h from each side. Subtract h. And h minus h cancels, leaving b times x equals j minus h. Now these are not like terms. They're not the same letter. They're not the same variable. So we write them side by side. Now we want to get x alone, which means we need to get rid of this b. So just like over here, when you had 6x, you divide by 6. When you have bx, you divide by b. On both sides. Everything divides by b. b divided by b is 1, cancels, leaving just x. x equals j minus h. What is j minus h divided by b? That's just j minus h divided by b. You cannot simplify that. And that's the answer. So with literal equations, the answers will have variables sometimes. So look at my answer. It has 3 different variables in it. That's fine. I like to call this alphabet math. Alright, we're going to do one more example in this video. Example 2. Solve for h. So I've got this crazy looking equation. Now I know when it says solve for h, my goal is h equals something, because it says solve for h. Alright, so what do I do first? What do you think would be the first best thing to do here? Here's h. We want to get h alone. I would probably distribute to clear the parentheses. Think about PEMDAS. Okay, so the solution, we have z minus 2 times b plus h equals km. Step 1 is going to be distribute that -2. So we're going to have z, -2 times b is just -2 times b, so that's z minus 2b. -2 times h, negative times a positive, so this is going to be minus. 2 times h is just 2h. Alright, now we want to get this h alone, so let's move over the 2b. And I can move over the 2b by adding 2b to each side. -2b plus 2b, that's going to cancel. Okay, so I have z minus 2h on the left side, and then on the right side, km plus 2b, these are not like terms, so you need to write them side by side. Okay, our next thing we need to get rid of the z and the -2, so because the z is separate from this h block here, we're going to move over the positive z, and we can move over the positive z by subtracting z. Alright, so we have, careful here, -2h, the negative belongs to the 2h, so that's still around, equals km plus 2b minus z. Keep writing it side by side because it's not a like term. Last step, divide by the number in front of h. So we divide by -2. Be careful. Divide by -2. Alright, and there's our answer. H equals, h is alone, so we're done. H equals km plus 2b minus z all over -2. Now, sometimes you'll see this written differently. So here's a alternate solution. You might see this negative sign taken off the bottom, and this is totally optional here, by the way. So what some textbooks do is they move the negative sign to the top, and since the top has 3 terms, 1, 2, 3, you have to give the negative sign or distribute the negative sign to each term. And so an alternate solution would be h equals -km minus 2b, and then negative z is plus z over 2. There's your alternate solution. Either or is correct.